Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Q&A with the Family Support Department at the St. Louis ARC. Today, I'm really happy to be here with my friend and colleague, Deborah Fiasco, who is here to share everything about the way Special School District is able to support families through the Family and Community Engagement Department. So she's got lots to share with us. All right, without further ado, I'm so happy to have Deborah here. Welcome. She's part of the Family and Community Engagement Team known as FACE at Special School District. And I'd love for Deborah to tell you a little bit about herself before we get started.
Thanks so much for having me. I love my partnership with the St. Louis ARC and all of our collaboratives that we've had over the years. And so I'm honored to be invited to be here with you today to just share some of the things that the Family and Community Engagement and Special School District is doing. So my name is Deborah Fiasco. I'm an administrator in the Family and Community Engagement Department. I've been here for 9 years. And prior to that, I worked in for the Department of Developmental Disabilities, and I've worked for provider agencies. So I've been in the area, worked in the area of developmental disabilities my whole adult life. I'm also a family member, a parent of somebody who was served by Special School District. So I took this really personally when I left the state and I came to Special School District. This is really a calling that I see with my team at the St. Louis ARC and many of our other community agencies, that it really is a calling to help families. And so I am part of a team here at Special School District called the Family and Community Engagement Team. So this is our mission, the mission of FACE. We always have to come up with acronyms in special education, so I'm going to really try not to do it today. But this is FACE, and so it is to partner with students, families, and staff to support those students' specialized academic, social, emotional needs, and to promote self-determination opportunities and authentic inclusion. And so that's our mission statement when we came together as a team and kind of redeveloped what we were doing and how we were working with families at Special School District. So this is my current team. We have Adrienne Egeland. She is a manager of the FACE department. We all have different titles. So it's kind of confusing, but this is our team. We have Latrice Morgan, who's an administrator, myself, Emily Lebu, who's a liaison, and Michelle Franklin, and hers is FACE Outreach Support. That's her title. But we work collectively across all the school districts to support families, staff, and community. So this is just kind of a listing of what we do. We do have a lot of stuff coming up, and I'll get into each one of these a little bit when I discuss the family engagement standards. But we have leadership opportunities, we have workshops opportunities, we have a resource hub that is kind of new to me, but it's a great opportunity for families and community. We do support the Charting the Life course framework within Special School District, mostly with the families. And we've been doing workshops with the Charting Life course tools here at Special School District for the families for probably 7-8 years. And so really supporting the district in our moving towards utilizing those tools in all of our planning for student success. We have a family academy that's coming up. I'll promote that in just a minute, but we also provide direct services and navigation. So you can call the FACE department. I'll give you the number at the very end and show you how to find us. But we do direct support for families. You saw that we were kind of a small team, and we do support 24,700, almost 25,000 students across preschool through our technical schools. And then we also have adult education in our health management programs. So we are a small team. We don't necessarily attend IEPs, but we work with families to understand how to advocate for their child and to plan for success in some of those meetings, and working with our community partners, with government agencies, how to navigate some of these really complex systems that families have to deal with outside of the classroom. So we support student success academically, but we also support the families in understanding these systems and programs. We provide support to our staff as well through professional learning, home visit training, introduction to the family engagement. We share a lot of data. We do surveys. We support them with Charting the Life course tools as well, and are kind of the go-to as a community resource of understanding where a teacher who is a math teacher, and that's what she does, but doesn't understand supported decision-making or alternatives to guardianship or how to apply for SSI. So we support those teachers in the classroom and all of our staff with those areas in the community resource. We do provide input on what the families are saying at our district leadership team. We have lunch and learns, and we provide technical assistance, which is just a fancy name for saying navigation. So these are the family engagement standards, and I'll go through those and kind of share how we support all of these standards of the welcoming climate and culture, supporting student success, two-way communication, sharing decision-making, really important to me, and then collaborating with our community partners. So here's the welcoming climate culture. We do this in professional development, and we do it with families and students. We have upcoming a welcoming school walkthrough where we walk through our SSD schools and point out some of the things that we could be doing better to make families really feel welcome when they enter their child's school, how they feel more connected to those learning opportunities and that culture and climate that's their school. We have the Family Cafe where families come to our resource hub at North Technical High School and get to really dig in. It's not a learning opportunity, but it's an opportunity where families really can connect with each other and explore different topics that they want to talk about. Supporting students, we have Lunch and Learn. I know our friends at the ARC are presenting in April, but we invite many community partners to do lunch and learns, much like this webinar, which are on our YouTube channel, to support families and staff learning about the different opportunities throughout the St. Louis area, different initiatives, different agencies. We have workshops. We just completed Preparing for Your Student's IEP. We have upcoming ones on behavioral strategies, and we're bringing in Missouri Poison Center. So some of our workshops are us, SSD staff. We have a wealth of information here at SSD, from autism experts to social emotional affective practice specialists to social workers to teachers. So we try and do a mixture of those in these workshop opportunities so that families can really have a broad range. We also, at the end of all of these, much like the ARC, take a survey because we want to hear back from you about what you are looking for these upcoming events, for our lunch and learns, and for our workshops, and how we can support your family and your student best. Two-way communication. Again, this is open to all. We have a newsletter that goes out to our staff that keeps them involved in what we are doing. We're updating all of our brochures to include more information and better family-friendly information. We provide information every month for the directors or the principal's newsletter. So if you're in an SSD school, you'll hear about what FACE is doing in your principal's newsletter. Same thing, if you're receiving your director's newsletter, there's usually an opportunity to hear about all of our upcoming events and how we can support you and your student. If you don't see your director's newsletter, you can always go to the SSD website and click on the newsletter and even look at the ones that are archived.
What can families expect from the special school district right now related to Charting the Life course? Is there a certain expectation for their teachers to be using the tools, or is it specifically what you're working on is the family's ability to advocate using the tools in a meeting setting?
Yeah, there's professional development around Charting the Life course tools for all of our staff. At FACE, our main focus is really the families and preparing for those educational opportunities and for planning beyond. We're here as a school district to support our students in what's going to happen when they leave us. How do they become the most independent, best person and have their good life after they leave us? So our focus is mostly on supporting the families in being really purposeful about having some of these conversations and using the framework, not the tools necessarily, but the framework around thinking about what it is for student success and how we support their decisions and their family in their community with their resources and their family needs and, what they want for their own family and what the student wants for themselves, and really supporting that. Having said that, that doesn't mean that the teachers are not using the tools in the IEP process and planning in the process or in the classroom to set goals, to problem solve. So we're really utilizing it more as integrating it into all of the areas. But it is part of one of our plans for continued school improvement is to integrate the framework into all of our student success planning. And the IEP is just the short-term plan for long-term success. So if we're using it in the IEP, great. If we're just using it to say, what should our goals be? What do we need? How do we problem solve around what's going on? You and I, Sharon, probably people roll their eyes, but I'm pulling out a trajectory or something or a one-page profile like all the time, but they really are a great framework for planning and problem solving.
And you said something that I think is just so important. And I love the idea that you're talking to families about thinking beyond school, because I think sometimes there are so many decisions to be made that it's easier for a family to just take a breath and say, okay, things are good right now. I don't want to have to think about anything else. But there are so many everyday decisions that impact your life long term. If you want your child to be their best decision maker as a 21-year-old, what decisions can they be making as a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old? And I think those are things that come up when you're working through that framework that are super valuable for families. So, yay.
And we are looking at that into early childhood about how we support the students in having a voice and the parents and family members in having a voice about what success is and what goals should be, and really supporting that, sharing decision-making. So we really do believe that all families' voices matter, which is why we cover all the 22 districts and our SST schools. We have a Family Leadership Institute that is a 3-evening event that supports families in learning more about Charting the Life course tools, more about the IEP process, and becoming a stronger advocate in knowledge there. And then really that decision-making and planning for the future with that backwards design and planning for sharing those decisions with families. So we have that twice during our school year, one first semester, one second semester, and we encourage anyone to register for any of these. We have our Family Cafe, like I said, that starts this week, and those are the dates for this first semester's Family Cafe. We also have a parent advisory council. So the SSD Parent Advisory Council is representative of all of the different schools and districts that come together and provide advice and consultation to our leadership about what's going on in their district and what families are really looking for. We also support not just our SSD that's comprised of our partner districts, but we support partner district parent advisory councils. Not every one of the 22 partner districts. And when I say partner districts, it's just all of the different school districts in St. Louis County. We call them our partners. But every single one of the 22 districts that are located within St. Louis County are served by SST. So not every single one has one. But if families are interested in forming a group or finding out more about how that could happen, we have a Parent Advisory Council toolkit on our website that you can look for, or you can contact us and we can help you with talking to your administration and maybe getting something going, or finding out what's going on in your district and how you can be part of these parent advisory councils. These are some of the opportunities where we collaborate with our community partners. So one of the ones we have is our Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. We have 8 different opportunities that we're collaborating with Castle this school year, and they help families with things like weatherization, energy assistance, all kinds of things about low income and learning about programs. We also work with the Higher Education Consortium, and they support students over the age of 19 up into adulthood, looking at different education and career opportunities. This semester, we have added 2 dates, November and in March, working with the VR program, where they're going to come to our hub and sit there, and they can help fill out paperwork, answer questions. So these opportunities with all 3 of these agencies really are one-on-one, where you can come to our hub, which is a small food pantry, but we also have computers and can help you search. We're open on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we have our community partners that come in and really sit down and go one-on-one and can help you through some of these areas when you can come and get personalized information from some of our community partners. We also at FACE are supported and support the Special Education Foundation, which is kind of like a PTA for special education. They have all kinds of grants for students to go to camp. They have grants for teachers for classroom. We have opportunities to provide information about community opportunities and our opportunities through Peach Jar Communications. And then we also, like I said, we have information about our community partners in our Spotlight newsletter and in the director's newsletter that we provide. So this is us. This is the SSD homepage. It scrolls across. Usually we're there. We're there. I've never gone to SSD's homepage and not seen us scroll across, because we do have so many opportunities for families to engage with each other and with learning opportunities. So you can go to the SSD homepage and you'll find us pretty easily under FACE. When you click on us, this gives you some of the things that we do. Here's our mission and our vision, where we're really talking about all of those things, again, about partnering with families through the family engagement standards to really provide that information for partner districts and for students and for families, for success for our students, not only in the classroom, but out of the classroom, lifetime success. There's a listing you see of all of the different opportunities that I've already discussed: the workshops, the Leadership Institute, Lunch and Learns, online videos, resources. We also have our Family and Community Resource Center, which I'm sitting in right now. We can provide you with resources and information, and we try to provide evidence-based tools. Here again is the SSD website, and you'll see where you can find us. If you click on up at either students, you can go to students, you can go to special education. We're in, like, I think almost every single category except for working at SSD. And there's that contact number, 989-8460. That's our general FACE number, and you can leave a message and one of us will get back to you, or you can email us. So you no longer need to have an individual email address. You can email the department at face@ssdmo.org. And then one of us will reply and figure out how we can either direct you to where you need to go, because we're not always the answer. Sometimes we're just helping you navigate a system. And sometimes we are the answer. We do have the resources, or we can connect you directly. There's a list of our some of our archived webinars and workshops on the SSD YouTube page. If you go to the SSD YouTube page, you can see the Governing Council and the Board of Education meetings, but you can also find the FACE archived opportunities that have gone on for the last 2 years. Here is pictures. That's our hub with the couches and the chairs. There's also area where the food pantry is. It's not a full food pantry, but when we have students or families that are in need, it is located at North Tech, but families can contact FACE and we can get it to you. So if you are in Rockwood or Hancock and it's a far drive, you can always contact us and we will do our best to help families with whatever we can help with, no matter where they are. And then that 102, that's where I'm in right now. That's our Family and Community Resource Center, where we can sit with families too and problem solve and find resources. This is where we have our books and our DVDs. That we have lots of kids books, so it's not just for families. We have them all different topics, from disability specific topics to parenting information, self-care. We have some bullying prevention, inclusion. So we have all kinds of resources, and you can go to the FACE page and do a search by topic if you want. All of our resources we can get to you. So if you're in an SSG school or you're in one of the 22 partner districts, we can send it to you through our mail system. It'll come home in your child's backpack and you can send it home, send it back to the resource center the exact same way. So you don't necessarily need to come to the Family and Community Resource Center in Hazelwood, but you're always welcome. Give us a call, and either at the hub or at the resource center, and we will do our best to accommodate. And this is just kind of a listing of all the stuff we have coming up. All of our lunch and learns, our events, our family cafe. The one I didn't mention, we don't have all the information yet because we're still working on planning it, but November 4th, we're having a family academy. We'll have 2 of those this school year as well. One first semester, one second semester. And Family Academy is really an opportunity for some of those academic supports and resources. So we'll have a numeracy strain where we give families like real hands-on information and things that they can do to support their child's academic math learning. We'll have a strain about the IEP process. We'll have a strain about reading. We're going to do some supported decision-making in Charting the Life course. We'll have transition opportunities for you to learn about transitioning either within the school system. My child's going from middle school to high school, or transitioning to adult life. So it does have more of an academic component to some of the opportunities, but families can choose where they want to go and which 2 sessions they'd like to attend. Probably shouldn't even mention, we've started back up with sign language classes as well, and it filled up fast. So we have our first sign language class. They're 6-week sessions. They're free. They're at our central office in Town and Country. So we've come back to in-person sign language opportunities. So if there's something that you're needing that we're not offering, let us know, and we will absolutely work on it or incorporate it into one of our current opportunities.
I think it's so exciting to see the focus be on the whole child and the whole family, because you cannot be successful in school if you are hungry and if you don't have access to the resources you need, and you're filling so many of those needs for families. Anything that you want to make sure that you say before we wrap up for the day?
I just want to thank you for this opportunity to let me promote this fabulous department that is my heart and that I love so much. There really is a feeling of support here for families that keeps us going. And so having the opportunity to just kind of highlight it, it's a little overwhelming when I sit down and I look at it all. And that's not all. We also have virtual open houses this year where we're talking about the whole SSD supports and system. The first one, we have 2 evening and 2 daytime events, and those will all be archived as well, because we're reaching out to families just as they come into our system. We're getting that back up and running and reaching out to families to say there's resources here. So we're going to have some virtual open houses as well, just to tell you about This is what SSD does. This is how we work. This is how we can support you. So I thank you so much for your continued partnership and supporting all of our families and helping us support our families.